Welcome back guys to this playthrough of Ark Survival Evolved on the island. We started off the night by heading onto our Pteranodon to get that red drop in the distance you can see. The red drop was on Kano Island and we made sure to grab that, get some nice little blueprints. Our goal today is to get the move going into the hidden lake. So we've loaded up the Pteranodon with building supplies. We're going to grab these drops and then we're going to get going into building our base. As we were getting the foundations down, we did have to have a slight change in design to what I initially thought, just because the lie of the land didn't quite lend towards what I was hoping. But that's fine, we made it work, and we got the house at least partially on its way. And we are going to have to make several trips to and from to get all the stuff that we need. We've made it back at the original base. We've got to do some grinding to get the resources, but we'll make each individual thing here and then ferry them back to the hidden lake. We're going to get some basic furnishings in here as well. Make sure we get the bed down so that if we die we can make it back easy enough. Then we'll start to actually move and get everyone and everything to this base we will be for the rest of this playthrough. As you can see, this is highly sped up. It did take a decent amount of time to get this built. On the way back to grab some more things, and decided to try and take out these T-Rexes, see how well the Pteranodon does. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Pteranodon's a bit stronger than I thought it was. After I got this mortar and pestle down and popped a few spark powders in, I realised that this wall somehow was a bit wonky. I had to fix it, couldn't leave it. Also had to make sure that we get more storage in place, because anyone who plays this game knows that storage... I thought it would be worth taming the Mosschops who wanted prime fish meat, so let's go get some from the Megalodons in the river. This Megalodon, however, didn't like that it couldn't hit me, so it was being a bit of a chicken and ran away. We'll get it back in the end, don't you worry. I thought about getting this Mosschops, but I was already here, already working towards taming the other one, which was where I needed it to be. It was already at the hidden lake. Thought I'd carry on and trying to murk these Megalodons. Not entirely sure why the Megalodons didn't seem to aggro on me in this situation, but they didn't. If they had, I'd probably be dead by now. thought the ragdoll effect here was absolutely hilarious. Made my character look like an absolute boss when it came to strength. And not gonna lie, this made me crap my pants a little bit. So I got out of there, because I wasn't dealing with that one. And after all that, get back to the moss chops to find now I wanted a Mijo berry. Guess that's what we get for going out of render. Placed out a campfire and got this drop at the other side of the lake. Then, heading back, I found this little monkey who I thought would be sweet to tame. And I kind of thought it was funny that apparently monkeys poo human poo. Had a bit of a giggle. Then I decided it was time to get an RG. I needed something with a higher carry capacity than the Pteranodon, so we didn't have to keep going back and forth and back and forth. And there was no flat land, so I built this janky ass trap and hopefully it works. He also didn't really care at this point what level the RG was. I did look for a little while, but there was nothing really good. So I kind of settled on this RG, which it's not a bad level. It would do for now. I also swear I'm usually a much better shot than these. I apologise for the awfulness. These Hyenodon thought they were going to ruin my plans, but thankfully the Pteranodon was not set on passive yet. But I had to change that so it didn't kill my RG. I've had that happen too many times. I also knew I had to get this RG in the trap because there was no way I was going to follow it and get it down. So this in and out and around can be pretty tense. Thankfully, the RG did decide eventually that it was going to cooperate and get in the trap and stay in the trap. So we work on getting it knocked out and getting it tamed up. After it was knocked out, I got some prime meats from some nearby dinos, popped it in, and it tamed up relatively quickly. So we got it out of the trap, started to make our way back to base so I could make it a saddle and get going. For some reason, to start with, I thought I had to craft the saddle in the smithy. Turned out I didn't. Don't know why I thought I did. But we got it crafted and we got it onto the RG so we could get going and try and put some levels on this thing. And right outside, in the river outside the hidden lake, we found this otter. So I brought it back for some safety so we could tame it up in the lake itself, and there was no risk of me getting munched by Rexes. We dropped it in the lake, killed a fish, pulled it over and had far too much difficulty to try and give it to the otter. Eventually we were able to give it to the otter. And it did a little celebration dance. Apparently it wanted to be our friend. But now that it's on, we can get going and start killing some things. And we killed a lot of things, as well as got some notes to help with the XP. We wanted to put levels into health and weight were the main ones, as well as stamina. Killed this, and we killed that, and we killed this other thing. All in the name of progress. Sorry, guys. It was killing this parasaur. I saw a titan. Why not? We'll see how it goes. To start with, I actually thought it was healing faster than I could damage it. But thankfully, I was wrong. It took quite a few hits. It's no wonder these things are such good tanks. was right here as I was running out of stamina, but also that the Titanosaur was really looking ropey. I really wasn't sure I was going to get it done, but right as I thought I was going to have to back off, we managed to take it down and get all that sweet experience. My little celebration. And just from that alone, we got 28 levels. Not going to complain. Then we got back into the killing spree.
Now, I know you don't get a nickname like Beast Queen without being one tough lady. But when I saw that giant egg, I still thought we were buggered.
After all that killing, I thought maybe we should do some taming. I found this 104 Anki, dropped it into our base location so we could tame it up. Went out to kill some more things. Found a Giga. Thought, why not? It's actually the very first Giga I've ever seen on the island. I don't know how they've never spawned for me before, but they just haven't. And it got a few more bites into me than I hoped it was going to. And it hurt a lot more than I thought. But we eventually took it down and made sure to grab the Giga Heart for the stash for later. We then got into taming the Anki. Fortunately, they're slow enough that you can kind of just hit them and back up and hit them and back up, and you can eventually get them tamed this way as long as you got a big enough space. Figured now that we've got an Anki, or at least the Anki is taming, we needed a Dode as well. So we got that and took it back to the lake before we checked its level and went out and searched for another one. And while we're out, the Anki tamed. And we did manage to find another Dode. And we used the same method with the Dode as what we did the Anki, just shoot and reverse. We took the Anki out to get some metal so we could get some smelting, make some better tools, get the proper crafting underway. Then it was time to get some behemoth gates in. It would entail a lot of grinding, but it was worth it to know that we're a bit more secure than having just the dino gates. Just had to check their placement. I did notice there's a big gap here, but we'll be able to fill that with pillars later, or perhaps even move the gate. We got the saddle made up for the Doedicurus to help in the grind. There was a lot of stone needed for these behemoth gates. Got more gates placed, but the weather packed up and I could barely see. I had to wait to get more gates placed. I decided I didn't like the placement of that first gate, so I put more gates down. It just meant that I had to have multiple to be able to span that gap, rather than being able to have the one. Getting this last gate down in the span, I realised there's still a bit of a gap up there, but I didn't want to have to make yet more gates, so we went with pillars. Pillars here, pillars there, and pillars everywhere. That's what we did for the rest of the day. Pretty much just placed pillars, even though they were in a bit of a tricky spot. They didn't really want to cooperate. We got them placed down, and I'm pretty sure that we are fairly secure here now, that no dino is going to sneak through that. With the last pillar down, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it around. Until next time, thanks so much.